One of the most well-liked and entertaining divisions in the UFC for a long time has been the welterweight class. In the years since its founding in 1998, there have been incredible battles and outstanding winners. Now that Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman's championship bout is just a few days away, we thought it would be a good idea to discuss the intriguing background of the 170 pounds division. In light of this, we'll be looking at a quick history of the UFC's welterweight division and all of its past champions in this video. As usual, if you appreciate this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Now, without further ado, here's a list of every welterweight champion in UFC history. Number 1. Carlos Newton. Carlos Newton began his MMA career in 1998 as he made his UFC debut at UFC 17 to compete in a middleweight tournament. Although he defeated his first opponent with a triangle choke in Bob Gilstrap, he lost his second match to Dan Henderson. Following his defeat to Henderson, Newton competed in several other organizations outside of the UFC before returning in 2001. Upon his return, he challenged Pat Miletic for the welterweight title in just his third UFC appearance. During the fight, he submitted Pat with a bulldog choke in round 3, in turn becoming just the second ever welterweight champion. Unfortunately, his reign as champion was short-lived, lasting only 183 days before losing it in his first title defense that same year. Number 2. Pat Miletic. Pat Miletic began his MMA career competing in several smaller events outside of the UFC. He compiled an impressive record of 17-1 during his first 2 years as a fighter, before then going on to make his memorable UFC debut in 1998. He began his career inside the organization at UFC 16, where he defeated 2 fighters in one night to win the first ever welterweight tournament, although at the time it was actually known as the lightweight division, but was later renamed the welterweight division after new weight classes were added. He then went on to compete at UFC 17.5 just 7 months later, where he defeated Mikey Burnett to become the first ever welterweight champion. From there, he racked up 4 total title defenses before losing his title at UFC 31. Number 3. Matt Hughes. In November of 2001, Matt Hughes was paired off with Carlos Newton at UFC 34 for the welterweight title. During the fight, Newton caught Hughes in a triangle choke, which Hughes responded to by lifting Newton into the air and slamming him onto the canvas. Although it appeared that both men were unconscious following the slam, the referee only saw Newton out. The result was officially announced as a knockout in favor of Hughes, granting him the UFC welterweight title. Upon winning, Hughes went on to defend his title an astounding 5 times, which is the second most in divisional history. This included wins over Frank Trigg, Sean Shirk, and even a rematch against Carlos Newton, which he won by TKO. Number 4. BJ Penn. January of 2004, BJ Penn made his welterweight debut, taking on Matt Hughes as he came into the fight as a massive underdog. Despite the betting odds heavily favoring Hughes, BJ Penn pulled off one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, finishing Hughes by rear naked choke to seize the title and end Hughes' reign of dominance. But his time as champion came to an end just 107 days later after Penn was stripped of his title after leaving the UFC to fight in other promotions. He did, however, eventually return and even managed to lay claim to the lightweight title, in turn becoming one of the few multiweight champions in history. Number 5. Matt Serra. After winning Season 4 of The Ultimate Fighter, Matt Serra was given an opportunity to take on GSP for the welterweight title. Matt Serra entered the fight as a massive 11-1 underdog, which frankly was understandable. GSP was boasting a record of 13-1, and had recently avenged his only loss. On the other hand, Serra was 9-4 and hadn't faced anywhere near the competition that GSP had. Despite all odds, Matt Serra pulled off the impossible, defeating St Pierre by TKO in round 1 to become the new king of the welterweight division. It was no doubt a remarkable win for Serra, but unfortunately, he was unable to successfully defend his title. Number 6. St Pierre. After losing to Matt Hughes at UFC 50, St Pierre made a steady climb back up his division. He proceeded to win 5 fights in a row before finally being granted another shot at Matt Hughes for the welterweight title at UFC 65. During the fight, GSP defeated Hughes by TKO in round 2, avenging his first loss to Hughes while at the same time becoming the newly crowned champion. But his first reign as champion was a short one, as he went on to lose his belt in his first title defense the very next year. Number 7. Carlos Condit. In 2012, top contender Carlos Condit faced off against Nick Diaz for the interim welterweight title. This was while GSP took some time to recover from an injury. Once the fight had concluded, Condit was given the win in a somewhat controversial decision. It was a decision that earned him the interim title as well as the opportunity to face GSP in a title unification bout. During the fight, Condit became only the second man in history to knock down GSP after landing a perfectly timed head kick in round 3. Unfortunately, Condit was unable to finish him and ultimately lost by a unanimous decision. Number 8. Johnny Hendricks. After compiling an impressive 10-1 record inside the UFC, with many of those wins coming by way of knockout, Johnny Hendricks finally earned his shot at the welterweight title against GSP at UFC 167. But to Johnny's dismay, St Pierre was awarded a highly controversial split decision victory. Following the result, St Pierre left the UFC and vacated his title. In response, the UFC created a fight between Johnny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler to fight for the vacant welterweight title. This time, Hendricks made the most of his opportunity, defeating Lawler by a unanimous decision to become the new welterweight champion. However, his time as champion didn't last as long as expected as he went on to lose the title in his first defense. Number 9. Robbie Lawler. Following a tough loss to Hendricks in 2014, Lawler proceeded to win his next 2 fights against Jake Ellenberger and Matt Brown. The wins thrusted him right back into title contention and earned him a rematch with Johnny Hendricks at UFC 181. The fight was undoubtedly close the second time around, but the judges gave Robbie Lawler the edge as he won by split decision to lay claim to the welterweight crown. From there, he proceeded to defend his title in 2 of the greatest title fights of all time. Once in a violent war against Rory MacDonald, which he won by TKO in round 5, and the other against Carlos Condit, where he squeezed out a split decision victory in a wildly entertaining fight. Number 10. Tyron Woodley. After climbing up the divisional ladder for 3 years, Tyron Woodley finally earned a title shot against Robbie Lawler at UFC 201. In the end, it only took Woodley less than 3 minutes to put a stop to Lawler, finishing him by knockout in round 1 to become the new welterweight champion, as well as becoming just the second man in history to finish Lawler by strikes. Following his stellar victory at UFC 201, Woodley managed to defend his title 4 consecutive times. 2 came against Stephen Thompson, 1 against Damian Maia, and another against Darren Till, where he finished the formerly undefeated fighter by submission towards the end of the second round. Number 11. Colby Covington. In June of 2018, the UFC created an interim title bout between Colby Covington and Rafael dos Anjos. This was due to the fact that Tyron Woodley's return was unknown at the time. Covington proceeded to dominate dos Anjos for all 5 rounds of the fight to lay claim to the interim title. Following his win over dos Anjos, he was then expected to meet Woodley just a few months later at UFC 228 in a title unification bout. Unfortunately, Colby Covington was unable to compete against Tyron Woodley at that time due to him recovering from surgery. Subsequently, he was stripped of his title. This was a highly controversial move by the UFC, especially given that Colby had only just won the title and claimed he could return in the coming months. Luckily though, he'll have his chance to win the title back against Kamaru Usman at UFC 245. Please be sure to let me know by giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel if you guys enjoyed it. Aside from that, we really appreciate your support and hope to see you in the upcoming video.